And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth segment. Just going to be talking about Tyler Fitzgerald and his breakout season for the San Francisco Giants. But before we do that, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers. If you would like your question to be read on the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot. So again, thank you so much for that. And let's get back into the show for today. All right, so we'll be talking about one of the more underrated players in the game this year. Guy's been on a really fantastic streak that I don't see a lot of people talking about, which is Tyler Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald was kind of a nobody prospect coming up in the Giants organization these past few years. Never really caught on with the Giants, was always up and down, was always kind of a 4A type player where he would do great in AAA, but would struggle in the major leagues. Was always a big, important depth piece for this Giants team, and is continuing to be that, but now is getting a full-time look as the Giants starting shortstop and also in the outfield as well. And he's run with it. He's currently hit, let's get this straight now, 11 home runs in 17 games since the All-Star break, which is pretty insane, pretty incredible. And he's just done a fantastic job with this Giants team. So I want to go over him, go over his stats, go over how good I think he is, and all that. So looking at Fitzgerald right now, he currently has a weighted runs created plus of 185, which is obviously pretty insane. He's also played in 52 games this year in the major leagues, 145 at-bats, 158 plate appearances. So nice again, this is such a short sample size. I mean, 50 games isn't the biggest thing, but it's also in the category where you're saying, is this for real now? Is he as good as he's performing? Obviously, he's not. I mean, he's not going to hold a 185 weighted runs created plus for the rest of the season or even next year, but he's still having a really good season, and I want to talk about him. So currently, when you look at his stats, you look at his barrel percentage, it is up significantly from last year. Last year was at 4.5%. This year is at 12.2%. His max exit velocity this year is 107.3, which is also great. Hard hit percentage is up 10%, and his weighted on base percentage is also 63% as well, 163% as well. So obviously, he's doing really good with the numbers part of it. He's hitting the ball really hard. Line drive percentage is up to 28.9%. He's hitting less ground balls as well. Pulling the ball a lot more, pulling at 56.1%. So obviously his hard hit percentage is also up from 30% to 33%. So it's obviously doing really, really well, and it has the numbers to back it up. So I don't think Fitzgerald again is going to continue to be this type of fantastic player, but I think he's a very solid player that is finally breaking out and finally getting a chance to start every day on this good Giants team, and is finally doing a really good job. So I like what he's doing, and I think that Fitzgerald can be a really solid player for the Giants team. One of their biggest needs the last few years has been a shortstop, and Fitzgerald has proven that he can be a high-level shortstop at this major league level. He can play defense well. He can obviously hit well now. So I think that he's really staking a claim to be part of the Giants' future and get a starting spot for the 2025 Giants, which is really going to be more important than this 2024 team. Now, he also has versatility as well. He has played the outfield in his career also, and second base. He's played second base a good amount, third base as well, shortstop, left field, center field, right field. So he also first base as well. So he has versatility. I think he really is a super utility kind of player, and you can move him around a lot. So he also brings a lot of value there. So I think the worst person Fitzgerald could be for the Giants team is a high-level bench bat. But the way he's hitting right now, the way he's performing, I don't see why you wouldn't try him as an everyday player with how well he's doing. It's really been absolutely fantastic, and it is going to be something that I'm following for the rest of the year. He's having just great stats for the Giants. Now, again, the shortstop position has been something that's been really interesting with this Giants team these past few years. I thought Marco Luciano would be the starting shortstop for this Giants team this year, but they don't really seem to think he's a shortstop long term. They've been playing him at DH a lot, which was one of the reasons I guess you traded Jorge Soler, but still, I hated that Soler move. I've talked about that many times on the channel. Just look up Giants after the trade deadline. I'm sure I've talked about it. So with Fitzgerald, I think he's really staking a claim for the future because the Giants don't really have a shortstop for the long term. And if Fitzgerald keeps playing like this, I mean, man, he could really, really become a fantastic player for the Giants team. Now, again, I think his future with the Giants really determines, what position is he going to play, what players come up and end up becoming long-term pieces at what position, all that kind of stuff. So if I'm Fitzgerald, I'm really hoping that I can be your everyday shortstop because I think that's where he feels most comfortable. But again, if you need him in center field, you can play there. Left field, right field, even first, second, third, really every single place on the diamond. I think he has the chance to go from high-quality bench bat where he can play all around to a good starting caliber player. Now, looking at the future of the Giants team, I think that they have a lot of good players for this core. It's just a lot of them are old and a lot of them are on bad contracts that you kind of have to move on from. Getting these guys like a Tyler Fitzgerald, who's young, who's playing well, like a Marco Luciano, who's young and playing well, Patrick Bailey, Heliot Ramos. I think that's a really solid core you're building out there with these young players. You have these guys in Patrick Bailey, Ramos, you have Fitzgerald, you have Luciano. But you also have these other older players like Matt Chapman, like Lamont Wade, Wilmer Flores, Mike Yastrzemski, Mike Conforto, who are solid, just aren't huge pieces of your future for this Giants team. You have those guys as well. Looking at your farm system also, you have some other guys coming up like Bryce Eldridge, who I think can be up maybe at the end part of next year. Again, Luciano, who I think is going to be a really good player in the future. I would keep him at shortstop, but I guess you want to put him at DH. Be my guest. But you have those four guys, and you have a ton of money coming off the books next year. Giants have always not been afraid to spend money. Apparently, a lot of people don't like coming to the Bay Area, but they got Soler to come there. They got Matt Chapman to come there. They got Blake Snell to come there. So I think that maybe those concerns of players coming to the Bay Area because of what they heard about it is a little bit overblown because you can get some of the biggest free agents on the market last year coming there as well. So, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what is going to be happening with the Giants team in the future, and also for this year as well. Obviously, they didn't sell at the deadline. They bought getting Marcano, but they also traded away Jorge Soler, so I don't know what they were doing. Again, I hated their deadline. I've talked about it many times. Can't get into it because I'm going to go into a full-on rant, but right now they're only 4.5 games out of the wild card. They're below the Pirates, the Cardinals, the Mets, and the Braves for getting the third wild card spot. They are also in the division where the Diamondbacks and Padres are, of course, the two top wildcard seeds currently. So they would have to go over them as well. So it's going to be a really interesting end to the rest of the year with the Giants team. But look, Heliot Ramos is playing great. Fitzgerald's playing great. Luciano's playing great. You also, of course, have Patrick Bailey, Lamont Wade. Conforto's been doing much better as well recently. You have, as Farhan Zaidi said it, the best rotation in baseball. I don't know if I would agree technically, but I think the rotation is really good. So it's going to be interesting for me at least to see how this Giants rotation is going to be performing for the rest of the year and how much it is going to propel them for their chance to get into the playoffs. You have Blake Snell, you have Logan Webb. That's already a great start to that rotation. But then you also have, of course, Robbie Ray getting in there. You have Hayden Birdsong, Kyle Harrison. I'm not sure if Jordan Hicks is going to be a starter for the rest of the year as well, but you have him there as well. So you have a lot of great starting pitchers in their rotation, a lot of great players to build around. And again, I don't really know if it's the best rotation in baseball, but it's pretty good. And they have a lot of great pieces, filtering in and out of that rotation. The offense doing a lot better. And now with how well Fitzgerald has been doing as a big part of that offense, I think that it is going to be really interesting to determine, where this Giants team is going to be at the end of the year, how they are going to perform, and just how overall they are going to end up playing as a team and as a collective unit with, how all these players are coming up and performing. So, very interesting team to watch the rest of the year. I'm a baseball fan. I'm a Giants fan as well. Very interested in seeing how my team does for the rest of the year. I think there are a lot of interesting situations that my team could put themselves in, and it's really going to be interesting. So that is it for my fourth segment here, going over the San Francisco Giants and also Tyler Fitzgerald, his breakout season for them, going over it. Moving into our fifth and final segment here for today, which is going to be talking about some news around the league, going over some other news that I thought was interesting, kind of minor transaction, injury-related stuff that I want to talk about, but I didn't think was good enough for a full segment, so I'll be kind of bunching it all into one segment here. So I'll be doing that, and we'll see you after the fourth and final break here on today's show. So thanks, and bye.